Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Talking Points. This is the post Under Siege one, and we'll get right into it. We got a lot to talk about. But first, what is a talking point? For instance, Kenny Omega has been in Impact Wrestling for 159 days. That is 158 more than Meltzer predicted. Isn't that something?
Feels
Yeah, but
longer.
Pat
A little
Jones.
underwhelmed still.
Feels a lot longer.
Right.
Pat
All right.
Jones.
This is Talking Points, guys. All right, guys, we're excited. Under Siege was great. I'm going to first start by introducing everyone, and then we'll get right into the show. If you haven't watched us before, we've had one prior. It was for post Rebellion, if I remember correctly. And it's just like Around the Horn from ESPN, if you've ever seen that. I give points to the points they make, and we have a winner at the end. So let's start with Lucha at SaveMe_RSK17. What's going on, Lucha?
Yep. What it do?
the king of the power rankings. Sorry, and the OG of TNAIW family. It is Misery Eater 101. It's Cody, everybody,
Hey guys.
and keep going in the yellow corner. It's not even a corner, but in the center there is the. Well, I'll let him say it himself. It's Mr. Impact Blog. It's Craig, everyone.
Yes, it's me. It's MIB.
And next up, coming to us in the red at Burt Macklin 2, with the 1 star next to him. And if you are a English football fan, you know what that means. He is a one-time champion, the only champion so far. It's Burt.
Going on, guys?
What a victory speech! There we go. And no, you did it last.
True.
That is one thing I will mention. Whoever wins this, you get 20 seconds at the end, or was it 10? I don't know whatever it is. You'll get a spotlight like Moose. There we go. To say whatever you want about Impact Wrestling. Try to keep it PG-13ish. And last but not least, it is the what do you want it to be, Max? What were you?
I don't know. That's usually you decide.
Oh, I thought you had one. Someone had one. Well, you could be the Tennille to my Taylor. How about that? How's that, Max?
I'll take that.
All right, it's Max, everyone.
Unfortunately, that person I interacted with on Twitter, I believe, was correct. I do think Under Siege did less than 1,000 pay-per-view buys. Disappointing, I know, but
yes, yeah, I saw that as well.
more,
yeah, you can't lead everyone to water. We'll say that. That's the way we'll put it. All right.
Mention that guy was filling up his gas, his trash bags with gas. But if he lives in Virginia, the gas.
The fuck?
You
All
didn't hear
right, let's just get right into this. We got 9 matches to go. I thought it was a banging show, to say the least. We'll obviously get everyone's opinion, and at the very end, I want to give you guys, or let you guys have a moment to say your overall score of what you thought it was. Let's start in order. Let's go back to Lucha. Let's start with Myers and Black Taurus. What's your thoughts? What's your main opinions of the match of that segment? Here, let me hear it out.
Well, for multiple reasons, I missed this match. One, technical difficulties with the app getting it to play, but I was able to catch on by the second match. And 2, I was kind of saying on the way over to Diamond King's house, I really don't want to watch this match. So,
Why?
Myers, get him off. Like, I don't care who he's working with at this point. Fuck him. F him. Bleep him.
That's unfortunate. I see what you're saying. Myers doesn't really have a direction right now. He's cursed. He's bad mood. He's most professional. He's New York Knicks / Mets. I don't know. I agree with you there. Cody, what do you got?
The match itself wasn't as great as it could have been, but I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. I liked Myers cheating. I mean, even though we know he cheats,
right?
I thought the fun spot was him walking out of the ring and just punching Crazy Steve like.
Yeah.
Like he didn't even do anything. He just punched him.
Yeah, I like that as well. Craig?
Yeah, it was a solid match. I mean, you can't go into it expecting it to be match of the night, especially when it's opening the show. But
Right.
Taurus is incredible what he does. One of the biggest, one of the best big men in Impact in terms of his size and ability.
Right.
Myers is Myers. He's good at what he does. If he gets you pissed off, that's the whole point.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's a good point. I just wish they would, same as we were talking off air, and we'll get to him obviously eventually. Just give him something like Willie Mack. They just need something to say that's that guy who does X. Bert, what was your opinions there?
I thought it was a decent opening match. The only thing at the end, I was a little upset that Black Taurus lost, but then I kind of talked myself out of being upset because it is a pay-per-view and you really don't want to have him, a jobber facing an established star. But I didn't care that Black Taurus lost. He looks like a star, even in defeat. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's one of the ones I was trying to make in the chat group is that, yeah, there's obviously ways for people to lose and still look good. And there's ways just to lose without any backing, just like this had barely any storyline. And I thought Taurus looked like the better of the two if you were to watch Impact for the first time, even though he lost. So, Max?
No, I mean, I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a good opening match. Like you said, not a lot of storyline or almost no storyline, but I think that's the kind of stuff that should open a pay-per-view or whatever we're going to call this. The one thing, I've never been a huge Brian Myers fan, but I do feel like he's the type of person that Impact needs a mid-card title for, like an Intercontinental or a TV title. Obviously, he's never going to be a World Heavyweight Champion, and I would never want to see him in the X Division. But I think if he was going or moving towards like a mid-card title, I think that would help at least give him a direction to go for. So
that's a great point. I mean, that's the only reason I like him working with Cardona is just because that feud, I think if you keep them together, just doing that feud for a very long period of time, which they already obviously, the paths moved, but they did say this isn't over. It just, at least the feud gives him something. So a feud over a title would at least give him, some kind of valuable work to do on the show, which is unfortunate. So we said
nobody
that?
Nobody saw, but I was holding up the Grand Championship belt when Max.
Not that thing. God, no.
Just the belt, not the rules.
Exactly. The belt's nice. The rules are stupid.
TV title in the trash again and start wearing it, and then all of a sudden get yourself a mid-card title.
Yeah, what do we, if we were to go that route, let's say that, I mean, one with Taurus, I think we can all agree that he's going to be something bigger than once he comes out of all of this with Decay, or even stays in Decay and just kind of moves past that. TV titles that you held up the Grand, yes, no one could see it. Unfortunately, had some technical difficulties, so we're using pictures. Lucha, what do you want it to be the Grand Championship? Or that name at least?
Visually, I want that belt design. Maybe not so more. Maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be the Grand Championship. Maybe they could call it the Television Championship, but give it something kind of close to that design, because that design is really is high on my list, and it's just something to give a lot of people that don't have anything to do something to do.
Yeah. Sometimes there's people that I say don't need the belt because they would make the belt, and I think this is one of those instances where it's the opposite. We need a belt for these people that need a belt to get that that elevation or play. Yeah, I agree with you guys.
It's like, also, you need reps to get better, and if you have a championship, you're almost guaranteed to be on TV a majority of the time, which is more reps. So
that's a great point, especially if they go television route. TV title, which I think they should, because TV to me doesn't have that prestige as if you were to make an Intercontinental or US, because those kind of names resonate with something much larger. But a TV title means, hey, you defended every television taping or whatever it may be, or every episode, never at a pay-per-view. I don't know. It'd be really interesting. Cody, you've been a fan for a long time. What's your goal as far as mid-card title, or is there not one?
I thought the X Division was the mid title, but if you want to throw in another one, the TV title does sound good because you can defend it every night.
Yeah.
So there's a championship match every night, which is always nice.
Yeah, that's true. We'll keep going on the line. Craig, I know this is off topic, but it's kind of handy.
Yeah. I mean, I've had different thoughts about them. A secondary mid card title.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be interested in one. A few years ago, I would have said make it an intergender title. But now, different times, different people. Who knows? But maybe an AETV, Anthem Exhibition TV Championship.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, clever, Bert.
I'm going to go with Lucha and Cody. I think they should use the Impact Grand title design, but use it as a TV title, because I just think that's another way to increase viewers. If you tell them we're going to have a TV title main event once a month, I think that's a good way to, get more people to watch. A main event title match is always, a cool thing. Seeing a title defended in the main event.
Yeah, and it's a great way to get the guys who need the push in the main event. So if that's going to be the case where it's, defended once a month or wherever it may be. I'm surprised you guys like the 6-side shape. Max?
I don't.
That title is doo-doo. It looks like something that I would have created on WWE 2K with zero artistic skill.
I hate the design.
If you want to bring back a title, you bring back the TNA Legends title.
Yes,
because
beautiful.
that thing is glorious, and you don't even need to change the name. You can just call it the TNA Legends title, and it can be your mid-card title or the television title. Something that title is beautiful.
Yeah,
I like the red strap, and I would like a TV title or something, but I don't think it necessarily has to be called a TV title. I know they're trying to pull away. They have the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, but you could just call it the TNA title. And it could just be your mid-card title as a throwback.
Yeah.
I think I would love for them to bring back something like that. I hated the Grand Championship. Thought it was horrible. Yeah. But
what was that? What was the Anthem belt you guys shared in the group with the Anthem logo? That belt was really good looking.
Yeah, it was a beautiful one that someone made a television for 2K, actually. Lucha, you were going to say something. What were you going to say about it? And then we'll go on to the next one.
As far as the TNA Championship, just make a heavyweight division with just big guys and make
like a certain weight limit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then you can kind of further differentiate. You got the X division that's for like smaller to mid-sized guys, and then the heavyweight for mid to swole guys, and
that's
then
fair.
The World Championship is just the best. The World Championship is supposed to be the best championship, like the best wrestler in the company or world. Mm-hmm. So that'll be kind of like the merge of both of them. That's where everybody meets.
Okay. But there are going to be some people who can cross between the two. Jake Something, I think, can definitely go between the two. So, yeah, I get where you're going there. Let's move on to the next one. There's no easy transition for this. Well, I used it in the beginning. Tenille and Taylor Wilde making her pay-per-view return versus Kimberly and Susan. Good to see Kimber back. Let's go down the line. Cody, thoughts on the match, the outcome, and where it goes from here?
I thought that match was pretty good. I didn't really understand most of it because of the whole Tenille and Taylor thing, but they worked well together. I'm actually surprised by that.
Yeah, it seemed they played up I was surprised because I thought the tension would be there sooner, but it seems like they're playing off of they possibly could be a good fit, I guess. I don't know. All right. Craig.
See, I called this match a few months ago, saying that this will happen, a few weeks ago, saying that this is probably how they're going to do it, and then have them split up maybe a week later. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's I'm not a big fan of Tenille. Taylor Wilde is great. I just don't know if I'm not a fan of putting her in a tag team as soon as she comes back.
Taylor?
I don't like that. Especially if I imagine Taylor's planned return was to maybe go after the Knockouts title. Obviously, be different people, but I
don't think it's a coincidence, though. You don't think it's coincidence that the people she faced were Deanna's lackeys for lack of a term?
That's the reason to set it up. But if they're planning on keeping this for a little bit longer, then I don't see the point in it. I think on TV on Thursday, split them up. I don't see this anymore. I wasn't a fan of the match.
Okay, fair.
Taylor's a great wrestler, but this match, didn't get much from it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, I would like Tenille eventually, her and Taylor to split. I don't even think it's a permanent thing, at least in the storyline right now. But I think eventually you have to get to a point where Taylor goes by herself, and maybe Tenille at Slammiversary gets a couple Aussie friends. I hope. Bert.
Yes.
I I thought the match was fine. Nothing really jumped out at me. The two things I did take away from the match was Taylor, hasn't lost a step at all. And I have to hand it to Susan. She is so versatile. She can play the three characters she's played, Susan, Su Yung, and then Susan. They're all great. And she's won me over. So that was probably my big takeaway from the match.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, Max?
I thought it was short, but I thought it was a solid match. I'm a little torn about the Taylor and Tenille tag team because I definitely think they need more tag teams.
Mhm.
And hopefully this is just something until maybe Slammiversary. So it just kind of gives them tag teams, but they also need more challengers for Deonna, which I think Taylor Wilde would fit in great. So I'm a little torn. I like them as a tag team because it gives them more tag teams, but I also want more challengers for Deonna. So hopefully it kind of plays out until maybe Slammiversary to where they split then. And then, like you said, the Iconics show up. So that gives them a replace tag team. But I also think this is good for Kimberly and Susan because it continues to build them as a tag team. I'm interested to see if they grow as an actual tag team threat over time to where they can eventually, because I think skill-wise, both of them can go. I'm just interested to see if they eventually, maybe it's either breaking off of Deonna to become a tag team or like
I
a
gotcha.
strong.
I don't see Taylor and Tenille sticking together much longer, but Slammiversary seems to be the point as far as where we're thinking. I think Taylor finally gets her match for that title. We'll go backwards. Max's quick answer. Do you think that's the game plan? Deonna versus Taylor at Slammiversary.
I think so. I think it probably leads up to that. I mean, it's unless you're going to bring back like Mickie James for Slammiversary, I think Taylor Wilde makes the most sense.
Fair. Okay. Bert, you with us?
Yeah, no.
He's thinking.
I can't see you. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. They do need more tag teams, but I just personally see Taylor being more by herself than teaming with Tenille. And like you said, I think we're waiting on Tenille to get a couple more partners from Australia. Hopefully they sign them.
Okay. Craig, do you think Deonna Taylor is the Slammiversary go?
I feel like it kind of has to be. I mean, who's really next in terms of who's won against people she's not related to, but connected to?
Yeah.
Maybe Rosemary can be next for Against All Odds, but apart from that, it kind of has to be Taylor at Slammiversary.
Yeah. Cody?
I kind of agree with Craig. I mean, there's no one else that has. Everyone has faced Deonna, and everyone has lost from Deonna. So I think Taylor Wilde is the next choice.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, and Lucha, wrap that up for us.
Well, first, because I never got to give my opinions on the match. It was a cool.
I'm sorry. Yeah, go. That would help.
It was a cool match. Like everyone's saying, the fact that Taylor can still go with it being as long as it's been since she's been in the ring is impressive. I think in a prior video I was on, I said something about Taylor getting dipped into the tag division just to, get her bearings back. Yeah. And then once that's right, then she'll move on to golder pastures. And this is aligning right up with what I said from there. So I imagine they last until Slammiversary, which is kind of when I feel like they'll get a title shot. Mm-hmm. And they'll lose that match because of interference from some people from down under coming through and lining with Tenille. And it's like, well, did you really think you were my friend? The classic heel turn.
So you think it'll be heel turn on her part? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Then Iconics will go on to win the tag titles. Then you got a Taylor Tenille rivalry. And then you can go from there. Taylor goes for the title down the line, like Bound for Glory, Yeah. You don't want to give her the world day one.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. It'd be the only thing that hinders me from saying that is the hit list literally said Deonna at first, and that was her target. I'm here for the gold. I'm here for the gold. I don't care about anything. I'm here for so. But that once again doesn't mean anything. They could draw it out for a while. Obviously, we'll get to that main event later where we thought we would be waiting for a certain matchup, but obviously they're hot-shotting it. So who knows what's going to happen, but great points, guys.
Everybody has plans, and plans change, so.
That is true. We got to remember that there's more to this than just, hey, what can you write or who could we sign? It's a matter of when you bring people in, flights and COVID restrictions and a bunch of other, taping schedules. So there's a lot that goes into it. And I think that's why ODB and Jazz got such a prominent role in the past two tapings. But I think we're headed towards the new direction, whatever that may be. Moving on, let's talk about direction. Let's talk about tag team direction here. We have the number one contendership for the tag team titles. We saw Ace and Fulton go over TJP and Petey Williams. And Triple XL. What's that?
TJ Petey.
Yeah, TJ. I hope that is a one-time deal. And then we saw Triple XL, and it's forsake me. Who's the fourth one? Who am I missing here?
Rohit and Shera.
Thank you, Rohit and Shera. Oh, awesome. Craig, why don't you kick that off, and we'll loop back around this time for real.
Yes. So, obviously, I've made it pretty clear how I feel about Triple XL on here. I think I'm annoyed they lost.
Okay.
But I'm less annoyed that they lost to Ace and Fulton, because next to Triple XL, Ace and Fulton are the next established team.
Yep.
Not much, but they're the next established team. I think Rohit and Shera doesn't work, and I don't want to sound like a dick, but that's on Shera. He's soft. He just doesn't. He's a big man, but he doesn't come across like one.
Right.
TJP and PE. I mean, love Petey Williams. Obviously, TJP is just. I felt like it should have been TJ and Fowler because they have more of a. They're more linked there. Chemistry. I just think I'm just annoyed. Triple XL lost that match, especially as they were barely used. They were on the outside for easily a quarter of the match.
It's funny you say that though. I'm sorry to finish.
I'm saying I'm less frustrated that Ace and Fulton are the ones who picked up the pin.
Yeah, someone more established. But as far as Triple XL, it's funny perspective because I watched it, obviously live, and to me, I thought Triple XL, the moments they did have looked very strong and very well. It never made them look weak, but obviously it lost, so so it didn't help them enough. Bert?
For me, and we talked about in the group chat, I think there was, when you have that many teams in a match, there's just too much going on. I feel like if you would have had one less team, it would have been better. And then going back to, I don't have a problem with Fulton and Ace winning. I'm a little upset that Triple XL didn't win, but I will say it's not like Triple XL has been taking a ton of losses where this loss was the final straw. And then one more thing, but I do think Triple XL could benefit if Impact had some sort of tag tournament and they won it. Because I don't think they need to be champs yet, but let's have them go on a win streak. Let's have them beat some established teams.
Yeah, I like that, Max.
I'm completely fine with Triple XL scraping the bottom of the tag team barrel. I mean, I'm not hugely impressed with them. I think I would have chosen Rohit and Shera or Ace Austin and Fulton over them to win. As much as I love Petey Williams and TJP, they're just, I don't want to see them win a match like this. But I think Ace Austin and Fulton winning was great. I think this Ace Austin going into a tag team gives him something to do without kind of getting him in a land between where do I go? Because he's not beating Kenny Omega, and I feel like Josh Alexander's doing his thing in the X division. So Ace Austin with Fulton can actually win the tag team titles from FinJuice, and he's now a champion. It gives him something that makes him look, hey, look how amazing I am. And you don't yet have to push him, either make your decision of are we pushing him for a world championship title shot, or is he just kind of sitting here? So I think them winning was the best
right choice.
Decision. Yeah, I mean,
fair enough.
Outside of Petey Williams winning with the Canadian Destroyer, second greatest move in wrestling. But
what was funny on that was Striker was like, "Oh, we almost didn't get to see a Canadian Destroyer because Petey almost got pinned." And I was like, "Yeah, you will in match 4 through 9. Like someone's gonna hit it at some point."
Yeah,
you might not see Petey. Lucha.
I had no problems with Ace and Madman winning. I was between them or Triple XL taking the W. Honestly,
Same.
I'm on the same path that they're going to be the ones to take the titles off FinJuice. As far as Triple XL goes, they are probably at the top of my list of teams that would benefit from going to AEW and working dark and working elevation to get wins and get reps.
Right. I mean, that's a fair point. We don't have that velocity anymore. I mean, we have BTI, but it just doesn't have that same because it's so featured. You don't want to hopefully, or you don't want to risk the opportunity for them to unfortunately fail against some jobbers or whatever it may be.
We don't have enough. Impact doesn't put enough emphasis on the lower part of the card. Like they're pretty much on. If you're mid card and up, then you get time. Low card, yeah, figure it out. Be on Swingers Palace. So you send a lot of those low card guys that don't get a lot of TV time and opportunity to dark and elevation to get times, and then on that stage they actually do kind of look bigger deal because they're squashing the people that AEW people squash.
I like that. Cody.
The match itself was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I really wanted Triple XL to win. Like I thought it would be their night. Like they looked pretty strong in it in the beginning and then the end. But it wasn't meant to be, I guess. And I'm pretty excited to see Ace Austin and Madman Fulton versus FinJuice.
Do you think that's what's going to happen? Do you think that's who wins? You think Ace takes it?
No, I think FinJuice keeps it.
Ooh, okay. Let's go. Let's keep going now. Let's go backwards. Lucha, quick answer. FinJuice or Ace Austin Fulton?
Ace Fulton.
Okay. Max?
Ace Fulton.
Bert?
Ace Fulton.
Wow. Craig?
Wow.
And new
Oh,
tag
wow.
team champions Ace Fulton.
And one more time, let's go start with Cody again. Where do we think this will happen? I mean, there's obviously that news came out last night of when against all odds. Okay. Lucha.
Yeah, this is going down on Thursday.
Oh, you think it's this episode?
Yeah, they announced the title match.
Oh, did they? Oh, wow. Okay, so we have an answer. We have an answer to that. Damn, they. Oh, yeah, that kind of. Knowing that, did everyone know that prior? Am I the only?
No.
I did not.
Yeah.
You did.
I
Okay.
heard about it, but I didn't know if it was legit.
So even with that, I ask you again: did anyone change their answer, knowing it's this quickly?
Well, I would have went with him. I would have went with the match going down on TV and then having the rematch at Against All Odds with FinJuice getting their rematch. That's what Impact seems to do that a lot. So that's what I would have done.
That's true. That's fair. All right. Well, damn, I didn't know that. Let's move on. Let's move on to someone. Well, two different people, and I think they're on two really different trajectories right now. We have Willie Mack, and we're going to start with Craig on this one. Was it you? No, Bert. We're going to start with Bert on this one. Morrissey, W. Morrissey. The W stands for win, I guess, and versus Willie Mack. Thoughts on the match, thoughts on the winner, and thoughts on the direction of these two and how unparalleled, I guess, their directions are right now.
It's kind of like how I felt about the first match, but the only difference is I'm not mad that Morrissey won. I'm just mad that Mac's character is so stale right now that he just keeps being in losing matches. You know, he's just doing nothing right now. I don't mind that Morrissey won. I like the way they're building Morrissey. I think he's going to be a real player in Impact, but I just wish Mac had something to do, something meaningful.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point, and obviously we talked about that off camera, but I don't know what it is. I love the gear. He's got that. He wrestles more phenomenally. I said off camera as well about his facial expressions. Selling is ingenious. He's a good dude. He waves that flag around of Impact. Excuse me. Where do we go with the Max? Your thoughts on the match and everything else?
I thought it was a good match. I liked that Morrissey won. I think Willie Mack is in an interesting spot where I do think he needs to do something to push himself up to that next level.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he's a former X Division champion. I almost said NXT champion. X Division champion. So he has credibility there. So putting him against people you want to build up
Yeah.
He's gonna put on a good match. He's obviously missing something for him to go to the next level,
Mhm.
but I do think he's the perfect person to help somebody else go to the next level.
No, that's
So
that's
where I think he did a good job there, and I think him losing is fine because I think you can get him a gimmick, and I think he'll be right back on track.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a great point as far as Willie is that, yeah, he has the credibility to get other people over, but what is the credibility that he needs to get himself completely over? Not just, I mean, he's over. Let's not get wrong. If you put him out there, I'll stay tuned no matter what. But there's obviously more to the game, especially when we're bringing in some great, really all around talent. Lucha.
That match was quite tough to watch because Morrissey was laying them shots in, and of course Willie's a stiff worker himself, so that was Striker-mania in my opinion. I'm cool with Morrissey winning. I'm cool with Mac losing because then it gave Rich Swann a reason to then interject himself into the situation, which reunites them. Hopefully that it ends with Rich and Willie getting that tag team run that they almost got.
Is that the direction you would go?
Yeah, that's the direction I would go. If I had the book Bound for Glory, we'd have Ace and Madman versus Rich and Willie.
I like that. At Slam or against all Slammiversary against all odds or
Bound for Glory.
Bound for Glory. So keep it a long term. I like that. Now, as far as Rich and Willie, do you think that's the direction they are going to go in, or do you think it's something where Rich or Willie kind of turn on each other at some point, or do you think that's after a title reign? Because the one thing that was interesting to me, and I thought it was going to be a turn right there or somewhere soon, is that he taunted Morrissey by doing the Enzo dance, which I thought was really interesting. So if you're keeping a tag team, is that the route they go, or do you think they swerve us and bring in someone already on the roster?
As far as this rivalry, honestly, whenever they do the payoff match, I still envision it being a handicap and Morrissey running through both of them.
Wow.
As far as Rich and Willie, like at this point, they're both kind of directionless. Like since Rich lost the title, he's just been that guy that lost to Kenny Omega, and Willie's just been the dude that just gets stolen on every week. So
yeah, that's fair. Cody, are you on that? Oh, I'm sorry. You have more, Luke? There you go.
I was gonna wrap it, but they need something.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I that's fair. Fair point, Cody.
I gotta be honest, I didn't really care for this match. It was pretty brutal to watch. W. Morrissey completely went on a single rampage. Willie Mack got some good shots in, but it didn't stand enough to W. Morrissey. The only highlight of this match I thought was Rich Swann coming back to save him.
Okay, so you're excited to see that. Are you thinking they're sticking together as Lucha does, or do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking they stay face for a while.
Okay, Craig.
So when I was watching the match, I was thinking, and when he had the upper hand, I was thinking, are they going to have Mac beat Morrissey here? Because because of Morrissey, I was kind of expecting a semi-squash match. I didn't expect Willie to get as much offense in as he did.
Okay.
I was really thinking that Morrissey was just going to run through him. But at the end of the match, when Morrissey was attacking Mac, and Rich came out, and obviously, like you pointed out, I did the Enzo dance. I was thinking this is going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be a 2-on-1 handicap, or they're teasing an Enzo return. But I think a 2-on-1 handicap would be the way it's going to go to make Morrissey look that much stronger.
Oh, man, that's such a downfall for them too. But it would give Mac and Swann a reason if they lose that match to go heel or at least have some kind of new fight and fire heading into Slammiversary. Bert?
Yeah, no, I'm happy it wasn't a squash match, but I liked what they're doing with Morrissey. I wasn't a big fan of him where he was before, but I'm not saying he's won me over, but I like his character. I like his character in Impact a lot more.
Now,
so
what
I hope
about
that they continue to help him build?
Okay, yeah, and I know you already went, but what about the the tag team of Swan and Mac.
I think Willie Mack benefits more being in the tag team than being in an X Division run. That's just me personally. I think, and I'd rather see him as a tag team than another X Division run.
And Max, really quick, are you in the same boat as Rich and Mac in a tag, and either Enzo coming in or just the handicap?
I would prefer Morrissey being in a tag match with Enzo. I think that would be great. But I think Willie and as a tag team would be great. I think they would. It gives them both something to do. Unfortunately, you mentioned it. It's since Rich lost, he's just kind of been some dude who got beat by Kenny Omega.
Granted, it's only been a couple weeks, but
yeah, but I mean, I think, and you and I talked about it a couple times. I don't feel like he's. I don't know. He just, to me, he looked a level below Kenny, and I feel like some other guys in the company, Eddie, Sammy, Moose, even Josh Alexander, for example, would look more like legitimate champions, and to me can carry that belt better than he could. So I think him being in a tag team would be a better option for him.
Fair enough. All right, let's keep this train moving. Next up is the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. We saw Fire and Flavor be the first two-time. It's D'Lo, by the way. If you're gonna say two-time, you say it twice. That was really two-time. I was like, I don't think that's how it works. Two-time Knockouts champions, tag team champions in Fire and Flavor, Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz going over Jordynne Grace and Rachel Ellering. Saw a lot of people were disappointed in this, which interests me of why. But before I ramble on, Max, your thoughts on this?
So I don't have a problem with Fire and Flavor being two-time champions. I do think it was a little quick. I would have much rather Jordynne and Rachel hold the title until Slammiversary, just because their title reign was 20 days. Like, I feel like you bring them out, you bring in Rachel Ellering, and you're like, oh my gosh, this powerhouse team, they beat Fire and Flavor, or Fire and Flavor, excuse me. And then just to drop it in 20 days, it's kind of like, all right, cool. Like, are we now going to see, like, is it going to be the, what is, I can't remember the name of that card. Somebody help me out when you have three matches.
When you have three matches?
It's a best of three.
Best of three.
Yeah,
Or
but there's something that's called.
Best of three.
I'll think in a minute. But
3 stages of hell.
Yeah, I'll think about
No.
But when you have that that match, is that third match now going to be
The rubber match.
Till the rubber match? Thank you. Is that rubber match going to be now at Slammiversary? Are they going to wait that long? Are they going to have it fast? And then if they do have it quick, then what are you going to have as that tag team? So I just feel like switching the belt so fast was a little rushed. I have no problem though with Fire and Flavor being two-time champions, because I don't. Honestly, I think they should have held the belt for at least, I'd say, 150 days in the first run. So,
all right, Lucha.
The match was pretty damn good. The results all line up to pretty much everything that I'm foreseeing into the future. You got the heel tag team for Taylor and Tenille to go against All Odds Slammiversary whenever they're going to do it. That rubber match, Max, that you're wanting, that's probably actually going to happen at Against All Odds. And that's when Jordynne turns. So we can get Jordynne and Rachel. It's like her losing and her eating the pin plays into the story that they've been pushing, that Jordynne was the weak link. If that story wasn't the case, then I would be a little worried about the timing and everything. But that's the lane we're going with. So everything lines up and it fits, and I'm here for it.
Awesome. I'm right there with you. I'll get to my point at the very end. Cody, what are you
I
feeling?
thought the match was really good, and to Lucha's point, I did realize why Jordynne lost. Like, it was storyline, and that's one thing Impact does better than anyone, is they actually implement storyline into their matches.
Great point.
I don't know where this will lead, but I'm pretty sure it will lead to Rachel Ellering and Jordynne Grace on different sides.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Craig?
For me, the match was okay.
Okay.
I don't know why because obviously the matches in the Knockouts tag division, they're the same matches. It's not that; it's a variation of that. It's a singles match. It's a tag team match. It's between the same different people. Obviously, if you throw in Grace, Jazz, or Ellering, it's still the same type of match they're having. And it's
Okay.
I'm okay with Fire and Flavor winning. That didn't bother me that much. I was surprised because it is so early. But aside from that, I think we'll get the rematch against All Odds, which because by then the 90 days should be up, which means the Iconics can at least make an appearance, or whether it be on a Tron or they can make an appearance against All Odds if they needed to.
Fair
I think
enough.
it's where it's heading.
Bert, wrap that up for
Matt,
us.
follow
Oh,
me.
sorry, Greg. Were you still going?
Yeah, just saying the match. I wasn't fussed.
All right, Bert, wrap that up for us.
Yeah, I really like the match. And going back to Max's point, I don't really like short title reigns anyway, but I wouldn't have put I didn't want to see Rachel and Jordan as the tag team champions anyway, because I think those are two ready-made single stars. Rachel could be a top babyface, and I'm all ready for Jordan's heel turn. I think she could be a main event heel. I think she has all the tools to be a main event heel, so I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, that was my point. I'm trying to let you guys say it all, but you hit all the hit all the sweet spots I wanted to say. Basically, what it comes down to is, as Cody alluded to and Lucha mentioned as well, is storyline is more than half when it comes to Impact. Right, you have outside things that go on, but Impact is very good about making sure if it's a short reign, why it makes sense. And at least in this instance for me, and they have for me a win-loss record more in the wins when it comes to that. Because yeah, you could say there's been times where titles just change for no reason, but we don't know what happens backstage. So some of that other 40 whatever percent is schedule and re-signing and expiring contracts. So there's a bunch of other things there, right? Backstage behavior, who knows? But I'm very happy Fire and Flavor are the ones to be the first two-time tag team champions. I'm happy that it's back on them because they're an established team. Did I think Jordan and Ellering needed to win to continue the storyline, though? Yes, I do. I think you had to have Jazz and Jordan come up short every time so we could put the blame on Jazz, right? Then she ate the pin against Deonna. She's the weak link, right? We write it off. But now it's Jordan losing, and I think to complete that narrative and to make that storyline work, you needed it to be a short title reign and have Jordan be the one that takes the fall. So I think we're on pace for the right thing with that. And if it makes sense to me, because here's the way we got to look at it: is yes, we all look at it from a backstage point of view, but if you are just thinking this is real or a TV show or whatever way you want to look at it, other than being a wrestling mark like we are. If you look at it from a standpoint of Jordan's confidence level is up and down, she thinks she's this. It just all makes sense from that standpoint because an athlete would probably be questioning themselves and be a little less than they normally are when they lose. So I like it. I'm for it. I can't wait to see Jordan at this tapings go batshit.
I just feel like you could have built it a little longer by having Ellering pick up more wins. And like every time they win, it's always Ellering. And then that you see that build on Jordan. And then when they finally lose, it's Jordan getting pinned.
Yeah, but I don't.
The person who ever wins a match is Ellering.
I don't think the storyline is to get Ellering over though. I think she's going to be on her own trajectory. I don't think Fire and Flavor have anything to do with this either. I think this is solely about Jordan and the growth of her and the tag team champions. Unfortunately, championships were secondary. So, but I see everyone's point there. Let's move on. Keep it going. So we're not doing a super long episode, but we have Josh Alexander retaining his title against El Phantasmo. I think we're back to Lucha. Thoughts on the match? Thoughts on the winner? And can we finally stop talking about the partnerships being one-sided? Can we do that?
I'll attack it in order. The match itself was bleeping phenomenal. It's a miracle that I finished this show because like after that match, I'm like, there's no way any other wrestling match I can watch will be better than that one. So that was a pretty damn good match. I'm cool with Josh winning, obviously, because fucking Josh. There were spots though where I was kind of worried that Josh was gonna lose the belt, but I wasn't mad about it just because the match was that good. So I was cool with it. And this whole partnership mumbo jumbo, yes, it's a partnership. Yes, people are sending people to places to go do things. But this isn't a build the Survivor Series. There's no gang war type thing that we need to look at it as like, oh, well, Team Impact's losing. This isn't a freaking squad battle.
Right.
This is just people wrestling.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. That's the best way to put it. It's
They
not
haven't
right
yet
right now.
made
It's
it.
not gang warfare. It's not a battle of sizes right now, or whatever you want to call it, or who's better or who's bigger. Right now, it's just in two individuals, or in this case, one individual coming over and challenging for a title. And if he's good enough, he would have beat Josh. Unfortunately for him, he wasn't, and our guy got the win. So, no matter what way you want to look at it, I agree with you there, Cody.
I'll be honest. This match I was most nervous about. I was on my seat the whole entire time. I didn't even live tweet or post anything. I was nervous.
Same.
I was like, I really hope they don't pull the New Japan card because Josh Alexander just won it, and I know they'll get the rub from New Japan with El Fantasma winning. I was like, don't do it, don't do it.
Well, that's a great point, Cody. I mean, that debate is there, and I think that's part of why Lucha probably wasn't as nervous. Yeah, I don't want another belt to go there, but I understand it. I said it last night. I mean, would it pop up the 400K that Watch Impact that Josh won and retained over a New Japan guy? Sure. But would the millions that watch New Japan be more interested in Impact if he won? It's possible. Craig?
I wasn't done, but okay.
So were you done? You got more, Cody? Lay it on us.
I was going to talk about the match itself. Like, the match itself was pretty good. El Fantasma bullying Josh Alexander, and that tightrope spot where they did on Impact where he walked the ring rope.
Right.
And then they're like, okay, that's not realistic enough. So Josh Alexander actually pulled him off and did a Death Valley Driver the same way.
Yeah, right.
I thought that was great.
Yeah, I think it was a nice little wink to the marks there or the trolls. We'll say the trolls, not the marks.
Yeah.
Craig.
Yeah, so I just want to make a quick thing before I get into the match. I wish during the presentation where the wrestlers are in the corners, I wish the non-champion would stop touching the damn belt. El Fantasma, because it ruins it for me in my mind. Because I know if the champion touches it before he wins it, he's not winning. If the challenger touches it before he's champion, he's not winning it. And
Is that a Wrestling 101 proven statistic, or is that a?
I'd say 90% of the time I've seen it, it's come to fruition. It pisses me off.
All right, but as far as the match,
in terms of the match, wow. I mean, Josh Alexander, this could be one of the best runs of the X Division title for the past 5 years, easily. If it goes as well as it can go, this can be one of the best X Division reigns ever.
That's a great point. If he dominates, I think that really helps the case. And that's why I see where people saying him keep winning matters. And I agree with that. You want to build Josh up, but I think Josh is such a transcendent character and athlete that he could have lost it yesterday and he would have not lost any credibility. But Bert?
I absolutely love this match. I think that when you talk about the X Division, this is the match you're going to want to. It's an ultimate clash of styles when you watch an X Division match, and I thought that match was a perfect example of it. You had two different types of wrestlers, but that's what the X Division's been all about. And also, I want to say that El Fantasma's heel work is fantastic. The way that he was strutting, walking across the ropes, the fake drop kick into the corner.
Yeah.
You know, I never really saw that much out of him in New Japan, but in Impact, I think he's been featured really well, and I hope he stays. And let me just go back to what Lucha and you guys have been saying about the belts. I've been saying it. The X Division belt is the one belt you will never see leave Impact to go to another promotion, because I think the X Division belt is synonymous with Impact. I don't think that you'll ever see someone from another promotion holding that belt.
But I think maybe that's the point, is that when this guerrilla warfare happens that we think might happen or should happen, eventually that belt is the... And that's why part of the reason I think Kenny is the champion, and rightfully so. He gives credibility back to that belt where we've lost some over the years. We weren't even on freaking PWI's list, for God's sakes, until about 2 months ago or whatever it was. But that X Division title no matter who you are, if it was Osprey growing up or whoever else has said it over time. I mean, Bay, obviously, who had his own replica and did videos with it as a kid on YouTube. The X Division title is legit, and if some other company wins that or takes that and is part of hostage or whatever you want to call it as part of them winning, I think it says a lot. So I could see it happening, but I think it'll mean more than just a random El Phantasmo wins one contender match and then wins right after. So I'm with you, Max.
So it was my favorite match of the night. I thought it was an amazing match. I love the story that was told. I think Alexander came out looking great. I thought El Phantasmo came out looking great. They did a really good job of building the fact that he's so cocky. They talked about how the locker room doesn't like him, and then there were points where he could have won, and they're like, it's when he hit the splash off the top rope. They're like, and he goes for like the cocky pin. He's like, you can't cover him like that. So I think that in the long-term story of this, if El Phantasmo stays there and continues to work in Impact for a longer time, you have the fact of, I could have beaten you, but I was too cocky.
Yeah.
That's why I lost. So if later on down the line you want to have another match between these guys, you have that storyline going. So I thought it was amazing. I also love that they announce him as representing Bullet Club, because it gives you it makes you wonder, he lost because he's too cocky. Does that mean that Jay White now comes over and says, you know what? Now I have to step in because my people below me aren't getting things done or aren't, are giving Bullet Club a bad name? Does it cause other people from Bullet Club to come over who may be serious or things like that? So
that's a great point. I mean, I was one of those matches, I think it was Lucha who said that, where you're just like, oh shit, what's going to follow this thing? You know what I mean? And luckily we'll get right to that. And it did. It held its own for a different style, but still great. I think, if you weren't a fan of El Phantasmo for the reason of it being a New Japan wrestler, he might win our title. If you put that aside and you go back and watch it knowing the answer now and watch El Phantasmo from here, I think a lot of people would be okay with him winning it now that he's already lost. Josh looked great. The entrances were phenomenal. You made it felt like it was a big deal. El Phantasmo, I hope he stays around. He's one of the, Finn Juice has won me over as well. And Kenny, I'm happy he's there as well because he is getting us buzz, no matter if we want to admit it or not. But El Phantasmo was the first one I'm like, man, he's put it together. And as I think Bert said it, this is the best I've seen of him. And granted, I have a small sample size, but man, this was good. This was good shit. Let's keep going. With next up, we have the Knockouts Knockouts Championship. Deonna Purrazzo taking it over Havoc by submission, which I thought was surprising. Cody.
This match was totally one-sided. I was surprised that Deonna overpowered Havoc through the most of it. There was a spot in the match that I was really interested in doing, is when Havoc did the submission on Deonna. It really showed her struggling to keep one of the legs because of how much damage the arm was in. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a great spot. But the match in general was pretty great. I loved it.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree with you there. Craig?
So when this match was announced after Havoc won the no more contenders match, I said there's no way in hell Deonna's losing this to Havoc. Havoc hasn't been the dominant force she has since she came back. In my opinion, she's had one, maybe two decent match feuds thing, and the most recent was at Hard to Kill with Nevaeh as in tag match. And they lost that, but Havoc still looked strong. Yeah. She hasn't looked dominant in years. She needs something, maybe Team and Rosemary, but I don't think she fits I don't think she fits the Decay mold. So,
but I think she can.
Yeah,
I think she needs it.
No, but Deonna looked incredible. She's the best women's wrestler today.
Yeah,
bar none. One of the best champions in wrestling, bar none. With Roman Reigns and Deonna Purrazzo, they're the two best champions in wrestling today.
That's fair. It's tight company. Bert?
Yeah, the whole time I was watching this match, because I didn't think there was any chance that Havoc was going to win, I'm starting to think that Deonna is reaching the point, and I do think Deonna is the best champion in the world. I think Deonna is reaching the point where she doesn't need the belt, and I think it would benefit Impact to get the belt off of her right now to start. It's kind of reminding me of when Taya was a champion for almost 300 days. The division, there was no one for her to beat. And I think if they can get the belt off Deonna somehow, it's not going to make her look weak. But I think they need to start rebuilding the division because Deonna doesn't need the belt at this point. She's at 200 reigns for both of her 200-day reigns for both of her reigns. She looks unstoppable. So I think that would just be the best course to go from there.
Yeah, that's fair. Max?
So I definitely agree. It was pretty one-sided. I think at this point you really need a really serious contender for her, because I haven't felt like there's been somebody that's going to really be a threat to her for a while. Fair. She kind of did the Legends route. So I think I'm interested to see, maybe it's Taylor Wilde, maybe that's the route it goes, but I really want to see someone who actually comes in and,
already established.
Yeah, or just someone who you actually believe is going to beat her. Like, because I think, just the past couple of defenses she's had, I'm just like, there's no way she's losing this. And if she would have, I would have been upset.
Right.
But I do think that when it comes to Havoc, I do think she needs the thought of Decay would be interesting. I know. I don't remember who it was. I think it might have been Craig who said that he doesn't think that Havoc fits in with Decay. I'm not going to lie. If you look at what Crazy Steve was when he first came in to Impact, I would have never thought that he would have fit into Decay. I think he's amazing.
Yeah.
So I think you can definitely turn her into something. I think her and Rosemary would be good, but I do agree that she needs something and she needs to look dominant, because from just a physical standpoint, she looks like she should be dominant, but this match, man, she looked outclassed.
Lucha.
Yeah, basically what everybody else is saying. I'm surprised Deonna was able to tap her out with the armbar. I've noticed the trend in a lot of Deonna title wins. She'll always debut a move to get the pin. So I was surprised, not necessarily that she tapped Havoc out, but it was with the armbar, because she couldn't use any of her other offensive moves just because of the size difference.
Right.
And I didn't think she would have been able to hook the arms because of the strength difference. So I figured she would have had to pull something else out of her sleeve or cheat, which she didn't either. So it kind of puts them in a weird spot. Yeah. And they're in an even weirder spot because you got to remember Deonna called out Apache at AAA.
Right.
For their title. So whenever Triple Mania is happening, I would imagine Deonna's champ for that.
Right.
So that's pretty much kind of guarantees a long title run. I would kind of take her off Impact TV completely and send her down to Mexico. So then any TV time spent for the knockouts is for rebuilding the division.
That makes sense. Same like we said about the tag team division. Send them away for a month. Let other guys come up and make their presence known. My brain's all over the place. Cody, you got a chance to talk, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So just to wrap that one up, we got two more, and I want to make this a relatively easy watching show, so we'll keep it short. But I will say this. I agree with you guys. Havoc, to me, didn't look weak. It just looked like they booked it for this to be the definitive, you got your title shot. And then we move on to something else. I think I like the idea of Deonna going away for a little bit, but I don't mind her keeping the title. I think you could also build a division by just saying no one can beat her. Who's finally going to step up or get that W? I don't know who it is, but there's a lot of people on the way. We have obviously Taylor Wilde gunning for it. Killer Kelly will be here soon enough. There's one more that I won't mention in case I'm wrong, and then so there's a lot of things going on. So, but I think Havoc with Rosemary makes a lot of sense. We said that prior to when even Nevaeh was there still, and then it would be interesting after the breakup of Jordan and Rachel if Rachel finds another smiley partner, since she is the queen of strong smile. So All right. Let's move on to the double main event here. We're gonna do the six-man tag, excuse me. Finn Juice and Eddie Edwards taking the victory over the Elite of Kenny Omega, Doc Gallows, and Carl Anderson with Don Callis. Craig, I believe you're first up on this. Give me your thoughts quickly.
Love the match. Fine. I know we're not fully saying it's like a war or a battle between the companies or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of TV and kayfabe thing, this is Impact's first minor win.
Okay.
A small win in a small battle of a major war, in terms of TV world.
Okay.
But Kenny, to me, from what I've seen, I've only seen a handful of those matches, but he only has 5 moves that he just uses over and over again. It's the dragon suplex, it's the one-winged angel, it's the V-trigger. It's about what he does, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's fair. Bert?
The whole time I was watching this match, one thing stood out to me, and that was when going back to the Impact Rebellion special, the one person that stood out to me as a flag bearer for Impact was Eddie Edwards. And the whole time I'm watching this match, I'm watching Eddie Edwards and Kenny Omega's interactions. And the thing I'm thinking about in my head is when that match finally happens, Eddie's going to be the one. I don't know if it's going to be for a title, but Eddie to me is the one who's carrying the torch for Impact in that match. And I think Eddie versus Kenny would just be a huge match.
Well, I think technically Eddie was the only one in that match that was Impact. If you
No, I know that, but I'm just saying.
I know you're
I
saying.
just think Eddie.
I was just using it as a transition to mention that
you're right.
Carl and Doc, they're teasing the fact that Kenny thinks they need him to survive. So I think they're going to be Impact, but right now I agree. I think they're not really Impact. And Don Callis, as we found out yesterday in the chat, legit is no longer listed as the EVP of Impact through Anthem. So really interesting stuff there. Max?
So I really like the match. They mentioned that Kenny was like the shot caller of that team.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Omega is the worst shot caller since Adam Gase coached the Dolphins.
Oh,
Telling the Good Brothers to do was wrong. Like there was one point where I think they were going into the ropes and he like pointed and Carl Anderson ran out there and then got attacked. I'm like, Kenny, you suck. Like you're great by yourself, but
I think it's foreshadowing. Yeah,
I mean, maybe, but I mean, I thought it was a good match. It's funny to me though that before they joined Kenny Omega, the Good Brothers were this powerhouse, greatest tag team in the world, and since they've joined him, they just lose over and over and over again. So
right.
I definitely could be foreshadowing. I definitely think it's interesting. That's the way they're going, but I definitely agree with the fact that the interactions between Eddie and Kenny were an interesting thing, and I think that could be your Impact flag bearer if somebody doesn't return to do it.
Fair enough, Lucha.
It was a pretty damn good match, I will say.
Yeah.
Wasn't surprised at how anything went, even down to the finish. It was interesting because I've been saying for as long as I can remember that Slammiversary is Kenny and Eddie. But
right, same. I was saying that.
With events that followed that we'll get into, that kind of has that up in the air. But I don't know. As far as where they go from here, I kind of got a gut feeling at Slammiversary we're gonna have another 6-man tag. And it's going to be Eddie and the Brothers versus, not at Slammiversary. Shit, that can't happen. Maybe Against All Odds or something. Eddie and the Brothers versus Kenny and the Bucks, because as the tension between the Good Brothers and Kenny is coming.
Yeah, I can see that too. But one thing I do have to mention, Kenny is, and obviously we're going to get into this next, but Kenny is defending against Moveset Against All Odds already.
So things are fucked up.
Yeah, something's weird, and that one really throws it off. But I like the idea. I'll give definitely extra points for that. I never thought about it that way. Of the Elite the Good Brothers eventually realizing, I think they're going to turn and eventually be Impact guys. But as far as help Eddie and then Bucks and Omega, I think you gotta
remember who the Good Brothers came into Impact pretty much helping.
Right.
what
Yeah.
was the ending scene of Slammiversary last year?
Helping Eddie out. Yeah.
The brothers with Kenny and the belt.
Lovely. I hope that my initial thought was I was hoping for. Well, let me get Cody. Cody, come in here and wrap that up, and then I'll say my thoughts.
Wow. How to call or how to talk about this match? Oh man, so much going on. So awesome.
Yeah.
I knew Finjuice and Eddie were winning. I think you can't have Kenny be always the winning person.
Right.
And I knew Kenny wasn't going to eat the pin.
Mhm.
But the match itself was actually really good. I loved it. I thought it was a great lead-in to New Japan versus Impact, and you can actually tell that New Japan are the faces in this partnership.
So far, yeah.
Unlike AEW, the heels.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a great match, and like if you saw the exclusive video that Impact posted about him and Eddie and Finjuice, I don't think that scenario what Lucha is talking about is going to happen.
Oh, okay. As far as Eddie
As
teaming with the
Eddie
Good
going
Brothers
with the Good
as
Brothers.
faces.
I think Finjuice are staying for a long time.
Oh, I mean, it makes sense. When you send your young guys over, it's usually to build credibility, but also to build, as we were saying with Lucha was saying about AEW Dark, it's about building reps and build, finding that sweet spot for you. And I think they're on their way. I really like Finjuice. I'm pleasantly surprised about what they've become, but I think you're right, Cody. I think the Elite winning here was not a choice. You really needed them to win, and Eddie pinning Carl makes a lot of sense. So now the last one we're going to get to here is obviously the main event, which we've been alluding to. Moose defeating Chris Bay, Chris Sabin, Matt Cardona, Sammy Callahan, and Trey Miguel. I thought it was Sammy. The announcers even kind of alluded to that. That was we were thought this was the route we were going, but now against all odds, rather soon we have Moose versus Kenny Omega for the championship. So I want to hear your guys' opinion on that. I think we're starting with Bert on this one, and as well as your grade for the show completely.
This match was a little weird for me just because it started out again like everyone just kind of doing moves and stuff, and then at the point when Sammy got taken out by the Good Brothers, I'm like, okay, something's gonna happen. And then the ending just kind of came out of nowhere with Moose winning, and that kind of falls in the place where right after the show, and they announced that Moose is fighting Kenny, and I did not think Moose was going to win because I thought Sammy was going to win,
Right.
lose to Kenny against all odds, and it would be Moose versus Kenny at Slammiversary. So now I don't know what to believe
Yeah.
because that ending just felt forced to me. I don't know if it was or they had to change on the fly, but
Right.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, I'm there with you. As far as a grade for the whole show, what do you A through?
Oh, sorry. I
no,
gave
you're
this show an A.
Hey, okay, cool. Max, your grade and as well as how you feel on the outcome of this match and what it sets up.
So, I mean, I definitely agree that it was a weird match. It was super short. It felt like I don't know, just felt like it was over before it even started. And I feel like Moose winning was a surprise and really a concern for me because I feel like Moose's storyline for a while now has been him elevating to him being the star he says he is.
Right.
And I feel like you can only have somebody fail at this attempt so many times before I'm just done with it. Like if he loses to Kenny, outside of like another, like I don't, him building up to be that star is over. Like I don't feel like he can lose to Kenny and still achieve that anytime soon. I feel like it would take a whole like leave and come back type thing. So I feel like that concerns me. I really wanted him to be the one to carry that Impact flag going into Slammiversary prior to this match. So I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if it's something, if there's some fishy business going on at the net, events to see how he loses, but we'll see. But overall, I do give the pay-per-view or the special an A. I think top to bottom it was really good. I think it really set a lot of things up and gave you a lot of future storylines and even like things that you can look back on and play on for storylines that we may not even have started yet.
I like that. Lucha, are you in the same boat here? I think, Moose, we can all say it was a surprise that it happened so soon, that it's going to happen. Does it play into his contract? Are they playing us? We'll see. But Lucha, how'd you feel?
Yeah, this one kind of confused me because I figured the order of challengers for Kenny would have went Sammy, Eddie, and then ultimately Moose
Agreed. Yeah.
instead of Moose getting the first crack. So I don't know if that's supposed to be something contract related. I don't know if there's just more that we haven't seen yet and we need to shut up and watch for. I don't know. It's kind of got me going places because, like I said, I had that map planned out,
Mhm.
and I figured Slammiversary we would have got Kenny Eddie, which would have saved Moose versus Sammy, so they could have their I'm the face of Impact Wrestling. No, I'm the face of Impact Wrestling.
Right.
That whole scenario because I figured somebody was gonna get screwed. I
Right.
would have put money on it being Moose getting screwed out of this match. So the fact that it was Sammy, it's confusing.
Yeah, it's really
It
interesting.
does open up the partnership with Mox and Kingston to come into
Yeah.
play over AEW, which we'll have to see. But Moose got it, so
All right. And
I
grades for that?
guess the show, I will give it the highest a B could possibly get before turning into an A. Like, it was damn good. Brian Myers winning the opening contest is the reason why it's not an A. Legit. It is
I'll give it
legitimately that.
some extra points for your ballsiness there. Cody, what you think?
The match itself was a lot of fun, but it was kind of weird. I mean, the whole story with Sami Callihan looking good, and then him being betrayed by the Good Brothers. I thought that was pretty good because it sets up a storyline with Sammy. But Moose winning, I think, makes the most sense because his contract is up in June. So him either winning or losing at against the odds
Yeah.
is going to be very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, that's fair enough. First, let's get your grade. What did you think about the whole
As for
show?
the show, I think it was an A minus.
Okay, that's fair. I like that. Craig.
So, first of all, I love the match. It's
Sure.
definitely my type of match. I love that stuff. It's not at the point where the frigging the klaxon goes off and everyone decides to hit their own move.
Right.
But watching it when all the participants came out, and I'm probably going to get shut down a little bit for this one, but every person who entered that match, they all looked like they could legitimately go on and win.
Yeah.
Every single person.
I'll give you that. I mean, there's even Cardona. I hate to, obviously, try to win you over there, Craig. But I mean, honestly, I really believe that every entrance you felt like okay, every person in there felt like a star, or at least on the brink of being one. No one felt like they were overshadowed. I agree with you on the shortness of it or how quick it all came about. But yeah, I agree with you there. I think everyone looked like they had a chance for one reason or not. If you've never watched Impact, especially if you were just to tune in, that was good.
Yeah. I mean,
what's your grade, buddy?
Grade, I have to go B because you guys saying that you thought Sammy was going to win. It looked like they were building to Sammy winning. I always thought it was going to be Moose. I'm confused with the fact that it's going to be against all odds. I don't know what's going on there, but I think overall a B, purely because I knew Moose was going to win this one.
Fair, yeah. I thought they would hold off on Moose and they would tease us here that Moose was leaving and he would lose and then come back and of course be the hero that we need. I don't want to second guess my thoughts on Moose's contract. I thought he resigned months ago, or never had his contract running up. I still think he is Impact's number one. It's just unless something funky's going down at Against All Odds, then I would imagine if he loses cleanly, he's leaving. But my thought process is with Luchas. I really thought it was going to be Sammy, and then Eddie at Slammiversary. Eddie loses. Kenny gets on the mic with the Good Brothers, but no one could beat them. Impact is blah, it's the shits. And then Samoa Joe's music hits, and then Samoa Joe comes out. and that would lead to whatever, and then eventually Bound for Glory, Moose would win the Bound for Glory series or something, and stake his claim as the man in Impact. So a little rushed, if you're thinking that, because we didn't think Moose. Well, obviously, Craig, you did, but I didn't think Moose would be challenging this month. But it seems average is about where I would say as well. I agree with Lucha. I would have given it a B plus, somewhere in there, just because there were some opening matches that I think were just there, not bad, but just there, and not really care about who the winners were. But so yeah, overall a good show. I think we all can say at least we enjoyed it, and we're very entertained by it. It's one of their best, I think, Impact Plus shows from the get. Since they started doing them. I'll let you guys go say a closing remark before we go to commercial and come back with the winner. But Lucha, you want to start with you and roll down?
Closing remarks. I know what's about to happen, and that's what makes it better.
Yeah. Cody?
If you enjoyed this video, you will enjoy mine that I did last night. I had a glimpse of my mind on YouTube. So plug in my shit, get my shit in.
Cody, you're supposed to win to plug stuff. No, go check his stuff out. You can catch a link right on our Twitter page at TNAW channel. Craig?
I just want to throw one more name into the contenders for the Knockouts Championship, since they're teasing it since Rebellion Day. Trish Stratus.
Really? I'm not gonna even ask. Bert. We'll leave that off. Maybe people will be intrigued. Reach out at Craig at Mr. Impact _blog. There's my
I just want to say that, going back to what Max said about, setting storylines up. I think, in a day now when you don't have to watch every show, Impact makes you want to watch every show because they truly reward the fans for paying attention. If you watched that show last night, you see the future. And that makes you want to watch it. And I think that's what Impact does better than anybody.
Beautiful, Max.
Nick's clinched the 4th seed.
Hey, okay. Well, I'll say a couple. Well, I'll let you. That'll be your words, Max.
That's all I plan to say.
I figured as much. Yeah, no, great show. It was fun. Who knows what comes from here? We're gonna go to break real quick. It's gonna be a commercial for backwards. There we go. TNAW channel merch coming at you. This is the hoodie that we have printed fresh today. So really excited about that. Watch the commercial. We'll be doing pre-orders starting this week for the 3 shirts and some other little things, maybe some mugs and hats and things and tchotchkes, as people say, coming along. But let's go to this break and we'll be right back with the winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast.
All right, guys, you can't see me. I'm just a voice, but this was funny as shit, and this is what accidentally happened. So the winner, Lucha Doncic with the win here. Lucha, you get 20 seconds to say whatever you want about Impact Wrestling. Try to keep it in PG-13. Everyone, a round of applause for Lucha. That is, there we go. Tune in next time for it, guys. Let him have the final remarks, and maybe you guys out there watching on YouTube land could be the next winner of the talking points. Lucha, what do you got for us?
First off, maybe the next winner won't be the next TNA champion. Second off, I just want to say that Hogan era TNA was the shit. Everything everyone says about Hogan era TNA being terrible all happened in the first month and a half. They were all gone. We got Bobby Roode as world champ. We got Aces and Eights. We got the Jeff Hardy heel turn, and it ended terribly, but started cool. There was a lot of cool stuff that came out of Hogan era. Stop hating.
And just like that speech, there were good parts of it, and there were bad. Just like the Hogan era, there was good parts of it. Man, you had to sneak.
Lucha, I told you I loved the Immortal Thanksgiving episode. I thought heel Jeff Hardy was money.
let's be
Yes.
honest. There are a lot of talking
Yes.
points when it comes to the Hogan era, and that's a great transition from our boy Lucha there. Next 2 times we'll be do tapings. I think this week we'll knock them out and we'll give you guys some better updates. But we'll be doing 2 roundtable talks. One for Hogan era's first pay-per-view, which is Genesis 2010, and then as well as Lucha kind of referred to the Jeff Hardy end there of 2011 Victory Road. So you'll get to see debates on that. If you guys have any interest in watching old wrestling footage of Impact or TNA with us and being on this debate show, please join. We hope you had a good time. Stick with us. Add us at TNAIW channel. And we'll go back to the guys and everyone can say goodbye. All right. Bye. Bye, everyone.